It's a college initiative to work with your student groups to make an action plan for your campus so that we can transform your campuses with resources that will actually help these women on campus choose life. Because we can't expect women to feel empowered to make a life-affirming choice if they're looking around and they're not seeing your support, they're not seeing resources, they're not seeing help for their unique situations. So with the Pregnant on Campus initiative, what we do is our SFLA team, our regional coordinators, who you all should know by now, and if you don't know them, come talk to me. I'll tell you who they are. Come talk to us. We want to work directly with your student group to solve the issues on your campus, because there's no cookie-cutter solution, as much as we'd love that to be true, but there are ways that we can address the problems and the voids on your campus, and there are actionable steps that we can take in order to fill the gaps. So, what can you really do with this? What does this look like? Well, it can be things as small and simple as starting obviously the Pregnant on Campus initiative, but taking the resources survey. Find out what's available on campus, find out what's available in the community so that you can actually answer students when they come and ask you for help. It can be as simple as having a table outside of your student union with information about local resources or about Title IX rights, or even with pregnancy tests to let students know that you are here and you have the answers to their situation. You can start with things as small and simple as that, things that are really easy to organize, and from there, just let it grow. Get creative, get confident, and see where you take it. Now, I have some student groups here today who have done a phenomenal job bringing Pregnant on Campus to their college community. And they started from the steps. They started just surveying their campus, doing their homework, and they have gone so far. So one student group that I want to point out, and I would love for them to stand up and give y'all a wave, is UNM, University of New Mexico Students for Life. Where are y'all? All right, they're back there. Give them a round of applause. All right, I love this student group. And I know I'm not supposed to play favorites, but these guys are awesome because just barely 2 years ago, I talked to Sam Serrano, and she was like, hey, I want to do Pregnant on Campus. And I was like, oh, bring it. Let's do this. And they went from the very basic steps to this January. They are reopening their student-run pregnancy resource center on campus called the Gabriel Project. They're going to be offering pregnancy tests, ultrasounds, peer-to-peer counseling, resource referral, material aid, and they are directly supporting students on their campus. That's what you guys can do. Yeah, give them a round of applause. And we are just so proud of this group. Second group I want to point out, Mississippi State Students for Life. Where are y'all? Where are you? I'm looking around. Stand up, right there. All right, these guys, they have barely had the Pregnant on Campus initiative less than a year. They started with a resource guide, just a resource guide, something that you're all expected to do. The director of the health center saw the resource guide and was like, wow, this is pretty great. And they didn't even notice the totally pro-life stuff that we had on there. And this director, little did we know, is on a state advisory board pushing forward an initiative to support pregnant and parenting students across the state of Mississippi. This lady came to our lovely Anya, and she said, I want your advice. I want your direct advice on what this initiative should bring to college campuses. I want you to look at the grants that we're putting forward. So this group of students, they're not only just affecting their campus, they're legit affecting the entire state of Mississippi. So please give them a round of applause. Thank you, guys. Love these students. Guys, these are student groups just like you. They're starting from groups as small as 5 to, groups as large as 100 student groups. And they start at the simplest steps, and they just go from there. And these are the types of projects that you can accomplish on your campus if you just take small steps to get involved and to get active. We don't expect you guys to do the same exact things on every campus. It's gonna look different for you. But we do expect you to take action. So, for my college groups, 4 steps, 4 very, very, very easy steps that you need to take to get involved in the Pregnant on Campus initiative and to successfully bring it to your campus. So, step number 1, make the commitment. Talk to your student groups, not just your leaders, but also your members. Talk about why Pregnant on Campus is important to your student group. Talk about what you want to do with it. And then talk about the vision that you have for your campus. Where do you want to go? How do you want to create a legacy on your campus? And make the commitment. Call, text, email, snail mail, whatever, your regional coordinator and say, we are on board. Bring it. Let's get this done. Number 2, I want you to do your homework. Yeah, I know, that's not a fun one. But doing your homework, take the time to identify the resources on campus in the community. Do the resources survey, find out what's available so you know the answers to questions, and so that you can fill the gap for things that are missing, for things that need to be improved on campus. Number 3 is make a plan. I don't want you guys just going out there and saying, diaper deck, that sounds fun. Oh, baby shower, bring it. I mean, that's great, that's fun, I love it, I would do it too, but I want you to be very intentional about the projects that you're choosing. I want you to choose projects that fill specific needs on your campus, that answer to specific students on campus, so that you are slowly making progress across your campus to fulfill the vision, the long-term vision that you have for your campus. And number 4 is, of course, take action. Take action. Finish the projects you set out to do. Don't just make empty promises, because there's nothing more disappointing than getting to the end of the semester and saying, I wish I did that better. I wish we actually finished that. I want you guys to really go forward and complete what you started. I want you to celebrate your victories, tell us about your victories, and challenge yourself to do better. So if you are a college student group here today, in the next couple of weeks, I hope to hear from every single one of you that you are on board so that we can work with you guys to change your campus and the next campus and every single campus on this country until we have reduced abortion and hopefully abolished abortion among our college-age women. All right? Everyone on board?
Yeah. So, one of the things, sometimes the best laid plans that we have, we've worked really hard, we've done our homework, and we hit a roadblock called administration. I don't know if anyone has hit a roadblock of administration here in this room. I know a few of you have personal stories with that, but I'm wondering, Sally, I know kind of Feminists for Life has maybe perfected the art of dealing with, or close to perfected, I'm not sure.
Well, you know, we're a work in progress. It's only been 18 years of our college outreach program. We can still get better. So, yeah, I mean, it's a funny thing. Most administrators just read the feminist part and they let us in the door. Seriously. On secular campuses, if you go in like as, you know, the Cardinal Newman Society or other things, they just go, whoop, and they don't hear you. You come in as Feminists for Life and all of a sudden they're paying attention because we can help you do something special that really impresses the administrators. What they want to see is they want to see students working together. You know, they have to walk a fine line. They have to make their donors happy and things like that. So they don't want to really alienate the groups, although they do sometimes. They want to see students work together. They want you all to sing Kumbaya together, hold hands and all that stuff. So if you start focusing on these resources, Feminists for Life can help you with these administrators and really get in there and say, well, this is how we can get the women's group involved. Wait, what? The Students for Life group and the women's group? Students for Life and Feminist Majority working together? Yeah, we do that. We do that because when we say, okay, here's the deal. I believe one way, you believe another, but we're going to check our views of Roe at the door. When we walk in this room, we're going to talk about what do pregnant women need on campus. That's pro-woman. That's common ground, and that is something that administrations can really get behind. And, you know, like I said, we've been doing this for a while. We helped to pass the Pregnancy Assistance Fund, which is legislation that's been passed, and there's funding available for your campuses. It's state block grants that they apply for through the Department of Health and Human Services, and there's like millions of dollars to be had. I'm not even kidding. And if the state gets the money, then they have to give it to college campuses that are working on resources for pregnant and parenting students. Seriously. There's money there to help start some of these big initiatives. So once you do your homework, let us help you talk to the administration and help you find that money. Because when you get the money, then you can really make some change. But until then, you just keep working hard at it, and you've got the energy. We'll help you do it, but you guys get to go and do it. So
yeah. And then I just want to kind of, maybe a little off script, sorry, Peggy. I just want to throw you for a loop. Can I throw you for a loop today? Awesome.
I'll try.
So in all this, I feel like no matter what you do, you're always going to be bringing up issues for post-abortive women. Even when they just start to see like a pregnancy center form on campus, or they see daycare on campus, these things get brought back up. I mean, for some women, a lot of things can be triggers. And so I'm curious, what's something that these students can always have on hand or always know so that they can send people or give people something right away, or, I don't know, just like some tools if someone's very angry or...
I really think the best thing that I have seen is Abortion Changes You. Abortion Changes You, I believe it's .com. I want to make sure of that so that you have it. Yeah, abortionchangesyou.com. I was pulling it up even just earlier on my smartphone. Not all websites work as well on phones. This one does. And it helps, you know, you don't have to get into all these issues in depth. I'm not an expert in after abortion, post-abortion care. And none of us are really, probably very few, if any, in this room. So all we have to do is listen, again, be empathetic, and say, why don't you check out abortionchangesyou.com? Because that website will take them with some very simple questions, just kind of delving in. Are you feeling this way? What about this? All right, and it's very user friendly. Now, if your chapter can, there are brochures that you can get from Abortion Changes You. There's a book, a workbook that can be worked through. You could have those available at your chapter. So you could even say, hey, I know we've got something. I've got something back in my room. You know, let me get you one of those brochures. And so you're starting the person taking one step toward recovery. Again, we don't have to take responsibility that I have to somehow help this person be totally healed, because it's a long process. But helping them take the first step and knowing they've got a friend, someone that they've confided this in, and now that secret shame is kind of starting to become out in the open. Just that is a relief.
And I know some of our students kind of struggle with a fear of offending or hurting people and dredging up things.
By bringing up.
By bringing up things. So sometimes there's a little bit of tentativeness or fear maybe of offense. Or and so can you address that maybe just a little bit? Because I don't think that it should necessarily hold them back from doing things, and yet they could be prepared if it does bring back something for someone.
Well, in the early days of the pregnancy help movement, the very first post-abortion programs really came out of pregnancy centers. And one of the first ones came out of the pregnancy center that I helped start in Columbus, Ohio. And we faced that. You know, we faced a lot of opposition to even having a post-abortion program. People said, oh, if you bring it up, you're going to rock the boat. What if someone then would commit suicide? You know, we had professional counselors that didn't want to get involved, even to advise our post-abortion group. Now we've learned that that's not to be feared. What's to be feared is keeping that secret shame, like with Stacey Zally. And that, you know, it's not, again, I think if the approach when the crack occurs, if you think someone's had an abortion, they're implying that, they've said it, maybe they've even said it in anger, just taking that gentle step is, you know what, abortion does change things. And here's a resource. Check out that website. And then if you want to talk about it, I'd love to talk to you about it. I don't know much about it. You could share with me. How are you feeling? I'd love to know more about how it's affected you. You know, so I think one thing that's inhibiting for us is thinking that we have to be the expert. We have to solve the problem. You know, we have to take them from A to Z. And that's not really the case. You know, a lot of the materials that Heartbeat publishes, in fact, our key material, is called Planting the Seed, the love approach. So you just take it a little step at a time. Maybe someone else has planted that seed. You're doing a little watering, you know, or you're pulling up some weeds along the way. So it's all a process, and if we can be just a little part of it, that's less intimidating for me. Yeah.
I know I always say, and I said this a lot of times in the office, that we're seed sowers
Yeah.
at Students for Life.
Yes.
We offer things out, and we throw things out there, and we plant truth, and we plant hope, and we do these things, but we don't always know what's going to happen.
You often don't see the fruits.
And you often don't, and it can be discouraging. Sometimes we work really hard, and we see change brought about maybe in small ways, but not how we hoped. So I'm just, again, I'm throwing you guys for loops today. How do we deal with the discouragement with this stuff? When a plan doesn't come together as we thought it would, when administration isn't bending how we hoped they would? I don't know if anyone has something right away that comes to them, but...
You know, I think one thing that we can work on is it's easy when we do what we do to feel discouraged, especially when people are turning away from us, you know, that kind of thing. And I know you get a lot of that. Try to regroup and make sure. I think something Peggy said was so important as far as always assume that someone that you're talking to, even within your pro-life group, is post-abortive. In this room, there are people who are post-abortive. Always assume that there are people who want to be pro-life who are feminists, who are Democrats, who are liberals. There's no such thing as what a pro-lifer looks like anymore. And that's a beautiful thing. We need the diversity because we need to reach everywhere. So if you're getting frustrated, maybe examine your approach and make sure that you're being open and all-encompassing and letting anyone who wants to help for life come in and help for life and help you with these resources. And remember, it's going to be hard. You're making a systemic change. But can you imagine, like, if Susan B. Anthony and the early American feminists gave up the right to their whole fight for the right to vote? Can you imagine that? We wouldn't be able to vote. We wouldn't be able to be sitting up here talking to you. Is that good or bad? No, I'm kidding.
It's bad.
It's bad. Bad. So think about those things. I mean, it's hard and it's frustrating, but you are the leaders who are going to make the change. You could be making a change and not know it. We've had people come up years later and say, you know what? I saw one of your speakers, and that's why I chose life. Or because of something the student group did while I was there, made it so that I could have my child. And you don't even know. But just being a presence and being welcoming and open and loving in your approach, you are making a difference. You just may not see it until your kids are in college. But it's worth it.
Well, I know something we talk about on the SFLA team very, very often is celebrating your victories. And I'm not saying all the huge victories, I'm saying everyday simple victories. You recruited a new member, an event went successfully, you tried something new that you never tried before, and maybe you didn't get the attendance you wanted, but you did it. So really taking the time to celebrate each time that your group successfully gets through a project or has a great conversation or you discovered a new resource, take heart to those. Because there are gonna be times. There are gonna be times when projects we planned and projects that we really put our heart into get shut down or don't go as well as we wanted. Or maybe the Women's Center shuts the door on you or Vox throws a tantrum over your project. And you're all looking around thinking, oh, why am I doing this? Like, is it worth this emotional turmoil?
We all ask ourselves that. Even those of us up here ask ourselves that.
It is, and it can be exhausting at times, but there are so many wonderful moments along the way that we can celebrate, and if you take those to heart and find joy in the everyday experiences of your group and the even small successes, you will grow so much and you will see real changes happening because you're counting your blessings and you're counting your victories in a very good way.
Great. Yeah, gosh, as I'm thinking of the small victories, you know, I agree with that. Just realizing that just taking one step toward the positive outcome that you hope and see. That is a victory. And particularly when you're dealing with individual people who've had abortions or could think they may be pregnant, that is a tremendous victory, that they've found you, and that you're the person that they've confided in, and that you can get the resources if you don't have them immediately on your fingertips to help that person. So I think always trying to be the loving, caring, pro-life person that you are to those around you opens up a lot of opportunities for victories on personal relationship basis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, favorite event on campus. What's your favorite, what has been you've seen as being your favorite way to put forward either these resources or how being vocal on campus about post-abortion outreach?
I have to say, my favorite thing to do on campuses is lecture, because it's fun. I get to talk to you guys and everything. But the most gratifying thing that we do is our pregnancy resource forums, where we actually have the students and the administration get together and all of a sudden put into action, like you were talking about the action, that all these ideals that they've had and the actual work gets done. So sure, lectures are fun and it's great to see students get excited about it all, but it's the actual pregnancy resource forums that Feminists for Life does that really, to me, is just why we do what we do. I mean, it's seeing the students working together with people they may disagree with on a lot of things, seeing the administration come around and be like, well, yeah, I guess it would be better if we tried to help women complete their educations and have their children if they want. Attrition rates aren't as high. They get to keep more money. Campuses are happy. They just don't know it yet. So to me, that gives me the goosebumps, is seeing those things start to happen and the lights start coming on in the administration and the real change. It's like trying to move that big rock, it just takes a little bit of momentum, and that's so exciting, so exciting.
Well, I think definitely my absolute favorite project with a student group is going out and doing campus outreach. And I think a lot of our regional coordinators would agree with me, because being out there with your student group, watching you guys grow in confidence and get to experience these awesome conversations with people on your campus is just the most gratifying thing. I know that sometimes student groups get really comfortable with being with themselves and doing meetings together and being very internal, and because we were afraid that sometimes maybe we'll say the wrong thing. Maybe we will make someone more pro-choice, which is impossible, by the way, or maybe we'll lead someone towards a decision that we would never want for them. And once I see these student groups and I work with these student groups and watch them step out of their comfort zone, watch you step out of your comfort zone and actually have conversations with students and be able to offer resources and support, that's just the best thing for me, because you guys are becoming a visible presence on campus and you're becoming a voice for your group, and you are being great ambassadors for the pro-life movement. There is, nothing more that I find more joy in, well, I guess a lot of things I find more joy in, than watching you guys be good ambassadors, showing your campus that you are caring, loving, compassionate, non-judgmental people who are actually there to help them, not to hurt them. You're there for their good. And it's a wonderful experience. So campus outreach.
Campus outreach. What do you think, Peggy?
One of the things the thing that occurs to me, because Heartbeat International is an association of pregnancy help centers all over the world, but we have close to 2,000 affiliates now, and 1,200 of them are in the United States. So we have quite a few affiliated pregnancy centers that are close to university campuses and want to serve university campuses. So I love it when I hear the stories of our pregnancy centers that are connected to Student for Life groups. And
thank you, Peggy.
Pardon?
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
Peggy.
I love it. And I've actually had the opportunity to mentor some of the young women who have been presidents of their Students for Life groups. And I love it when they want to talk to me about how can they have a better relationship with their local pregnancy center and form a kind of a partnership. Because the Pregnancy Center has lots and lots of resources. I mean, they can provide speakers, they can provide education for your members, but they are also, of course, the people that you need as resources when you do have a friend or an associate, or you find someone on campus who needs pregnancy help or help after an abortion. If you've got a good local pregnancy center, they could be a prime partner. And look to them for mentoring too. There are women there that would, I think, love to mentor some of the of your members on campus. Some of them have men's groups. It would be very interesting for the men in the Students for Life groups to get connected with some of the men mentors at the pregnancy center and understand how they're helping young men whose girlfriends have gotten pregnant.
And that's a very important point. I'm sorry if I may jump in. Men, you have a role in this.
Yeah.
You know, don't let women's groups tell you that you can't say anything, you don't have a uterus or whatever.
Don't let them pull the uterus card on you.
No, no. Not going to make that joke. Anyway. So, squirrel. So, you guys, you have a seat at the table. You have to talk about this. It's a women's issue. Do you like women? Were you born from one? Do you hope to marry one? And take that beyond. Okay, you care about women. And so what you need to remember is it's not just about saving the baby, it's about you helping these women. And don't let anybody shut you up, because this is a human issue. This affects dads equally. Fathers on campus need to have some place to change their child. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. So this is a men's issue too. Don't let anybody tell you it isn't. You're not preaching at women, you're helping to equip women and men who are pregnant and parenting students.
Thank you. I am so thankful that you guys came.
Thank you, Tina.
Yeah.
Thanks for the invitation.
And I just want to highlight a couple things because I think it's so important. This is about illuminating your campus. And I think you guys gave us some really good golden nuggets. I think it's that you guys don't have to be the experts. I think that is so freeing, Peggy. You guys don't have to be the experts. And because it's about caring for women. And you don't need any expertise to show people that you care. And you have so many resources right here in the Great Halls. You have so many great leaders and organizations who are the experts in these areas and that you can draw on. I think also just that it's about taking the first step and it's about making a plan. And you guys, one candle, right, can light the darkness. But when you gather all these candles around you, you can illuminate your campus and make a lasting, I heard a legacy change, changing something that won't just change for the time you're in school, but will change because you've affected the administration, because you've made something permanent on your campus. And I hope none of you high schoolers have checked out on this, because I know some of it probably doesn't apply to you. Yet. And that's what I want to say. I'm hoping you hold this stuff, because you're about to be released onto colleges that need you. Colleges that SFLA hasn't touched yet. Colleges that maybe there's a pro-life student there right now who thinks that she's the only one, and so she's not saying anything, and she needs you to get on campus.
Or she's graduating.
Or she's graduating, that's right. So thank you, ladies. Thank you guys for your time. Tina. I hope that you go out and really illuminate your campuses. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Big hands up.